L'Shana Tova. Le means two. Shana, year. Tova, good. To a year good. I like that word Shana in Hebrew. Usually translated as year, but the Hebrew always has deeper meaning. And there's a double meaning in the word Shana. The first comes from the root that makes leshanen, which means to repeat. It's a repetition that also invites into a kind of precision. It's growing in precision. So it makes sense that the word Shana would mean to repeat, obviously. The word Shana also gives us a different word. It gives us the word shoneh, which means different, changing. So the word Shana, which usually we understand simply as year, actually calls into consciousness a change that is also a repetition. So most often we see a year as a cycle. We circle around the earth one time, and that's a year. It feels like we're going in circle, really, year after year after year. But if we really listen to what the Hebrew is trying to teach us, then we enter into a year cycle with the intention, with the thought of change, of evolution, of a kind of repetition that is never the same. We repeat, we are given another track to circle around and to repeat the days and the month, but we are invited not to do it in a circle, but to do it in a spiral. That we might evolve through the course of a year that is a repetition, that we might change, that we might be different by the time we meet again a year from now, that you will be a completely different person, which I don't doubt you will be. The question is, are you going to do this consciously or unconsciously? Because change is unavoidable. This year is the year 5783. Every year at that time, I share with you the gematria. Gematria, for those of you who might not know, is the Kabbalistic made-up pseudo-mathematics that looks into every letter and every word of the Hebrew and transform each letter into a number. Why? Well, simply because before Arab numerics, before Roman numerics, we counted with our letters. That was the only way we knew how to count. Aleph, the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet, was 1. Bet, the B, was 2. And so on and so forth. And so our letters were also the numbers. And eventually it became this pseudoscience of looking at each word that is made up of each letter and actually adding up the numbers underneath that. So 5783, we have to compress that. We have to add up all the digits. 5, 7 is 12, plus 8 is 20, plus 3 is 23. And that's when we look into the Hebrew dictionary. What is 23? What are the words that we can conjure up? What letters can we add together to add up to 23? And there are several of them, of course, and it would be impossible for me. We'll need the whole night to go through them, but I've highlighted 5 of them. 4 really, and then 1. And what I have found this year is that there is great conflict. There's great dichotomy. There is really darkness and light in the number 23, which something to keep in mind for the year about to be. One of the first word that we can spell with 23 is the word ke'ev. Ke'ev means pain. Ke'ev means suffering. Ke'ev means being sore, being wounded, being hurt, being in pain. But then it also makes the word hidad, and that is shout of joy. Interesting. Then it also makes the word chaya, from a feminine version of chai, meaning life. So chaya means to be alive, to be, to exist. And another word is, interestingly enough, for these high holidays, chata'a. Chata'a is the word that means, that we translate as sin, missing the mark. So you see those four words are very much antithetical to each other. Maybe we'll go through all of it. I suspect we might. Pain and joy. A well-lived existence and sin, missing the mark, erring, making mistakes. But then there is a fifth one. And I kept that one for last because I think that all of the above are comprised and included in the fifth one. And the fifth one is zvadim. And that means a gift of God. A gift of God. So whatever will meet you in the darkness or the light, in the pain or the joy, all of it may be a gift from God. With that, we turn to page 10 in your prayer book. You may already be here. And we read together the little paragraph that says, toward home. I'll give everybody a chance at home as well to find the page. Join me. We spend most of our lives in this strange dance, pushing forward to get back home. Teshuvah, turning, return, repentance, is the central gesture of the High Holy Days season. It is a circular motion. If you're moving along the circumference of a circle, it might seem at first that is getting farther and farther away. But actually, it is also getting closer and closer. The calendar year is such a circle. On Rosh HaShanah, a new year begins, and every day is one day farther from the starting point. But every day is also a return, a drawing closer to the completion of the cycle. What we call teshuvah is a primal gesture, a primordial sense of the healing power of the journey we make through life. This place we are standing in, this completely fluid place, this place of endlessly swirling currents with nothing to hold on to, nothing substantial about it, this place made of water and light and movement, this is home. Our home is a river, a fluid place, a place where there is no stopping point, a place where we can't stop clinging and stop being driven out of life. A place of teshuvah, a place that will return us to ourselves, where we can feel our lives flowing, healing toward home. And in the service of such a journey, we read together as a kavanah, as an intention perhaps for this year about to be, for these high holy days. We meet these days in worship, that we might release painful patterns through embrace and not through struggle. We open our hearts to ourselves, to each other, and to the universal presence in which we are sustained. On the brink of this new year, we awaken to renewed choice. We seek the thoughts, images, feelings, and actions that will more clearly reflect the loving and peaceful heart, always at the center of our being. Teshuvah is the return we seek now. It is the inward turning toward the source of our strength and our wisdom. In tefillah, in prayer, we turn within, allowing our images, feelings, and thoughts to support the selves we wish to be. And we rehearse actions in the world consistent with our higher images, our truer yearnings, the fuller expressions of our being. The book of life is once again open. We are called upon to inscribe our destiny. The book of life is once again open. The theme of these high holidays is in the book of life. And the book of life is once again open tonight. We'll explore through these holy days what that exactly can mean for us as individuals, for us maybe as a community, for us as a human civilization. We're going to take it that far. I have expressed in my invitation to you to join us for these high holidays that I have felt over the last few years that we have continued to write ourselves as human beings into the book of death. What is unraveling around us, this cherished world of ours, that is being destroyed, that is being polluted, that is being shattered. Wars that once again loom dark over our psyches, our consciousness, that disturb and disrupt the order of things. All, it seems, are written in this book of death that it seems if we don't stop continuing to write ourselves, like stop digging, we are very near and very close to, in fact, writing, perhaps, sadly, the last chapters of human civilization. And so this call, especially this year, I think, this call to write ourselves in the book of life is more than ever not just relevant, but I would go so far as to say life preserving. We must. We have, I don't think, a choice anymore to write the story of humanity in a book of life, of thriving, of oneness, of understanding, of compassion. I will talk your ears off about transcending the ego-bound alienation of separateness, because I have found that it is the source, the core of why we continue to write a story of death. So the book of life just propped open in front of us as the story of the high holidays is told and retold every year. That God is sitting somewhere, I believe right here in this space, or right wherever you are, at home, And God has a choice to make. You have a choice to make. What story do you want to keep telling about who you are as a person, about who we are as a community, about who we are as Americans, about who we are as human beings? What story do you want to tell?